Hello, this is McD the Beast, and this is McD Sports 4 coming to you today with my Auburn football predictions for the 2020 college football season. Before I continue, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Please subscribe to the channel. Greatly appreciate if you do that. I do have a subscriber goal of 500 subscribers, which I'll love to hit by August 29th. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. You will not regret it. So the Auburn Tigers last year, they lost in the Outback Bowl to Minnesota. And finished the season 9-4. They did have a big win last year against Alabama, which was kind of the moment of the year, I guess. Last year being a rival, that's always good. But let's see if they can get to 10 wins this year, at least in the regular season, or have a shot to get to 10 wins this year. So let's start off with what I like about this team. I like Gus Malzahn. Now, granted, a lot of Auburn fans are probably not going to like when I say this, but he is a top 25 head coach. I don't think Auburn should fire him because this is Auburn, in my opinion. Auburn's one of those tier 2, tier 3 teams every year. They're going to win at least 7, 8, 9 games. Some years they'll win 10, 11 games. That's very good. So I will absolutely keep Gus Malzahn if I was Auburn. I think that's a pro for Auburn. I think that's a good thing for Auburn, Gus Malzahn. He knows what he's doing. I don't know why Auburn fans want to say he should be fired. I know there's a video on here calling for his job 2 years ago, but that's back when I didn't really think about what Gus Malzahn was to Auburn. And now, since after thinking about it, I think Gus Malzahn is a good fit at Auburn. I think he is the right head coach for that job. I also like their defense. Their defense is going to be pretty good again this year. I know they lose Brown on the line, probably their best defensive player, but they are pretty talented defensively, this team. And I do think this defense is going to take them places, and it's going to be how good the defense plays. That's how good Auburn's going to be. I do think the defense is going to be pretty good this year. The offense is another year on the Bo Nix. I only put 2 on each side, but offense – another year on the Bo Nix should be pretty good as well. Cons, the schedule. What I don't like about this team. The schedule is brutal, guys. It is absolutely brutal, this schedule. I look at this schedule. I think there's at least, my God, I really feel like there's at least 5 or 6 games you guys could lose, honestly. So the schedule's definitely tough. Your 3 toughest games: Alabama, LSU, North Carolina. I should have probably put Georgia there on the road. Honestly, it's your 3rd toughest game, but I went with North Carolina because I feel like at neutral site that game is going to be pretty tough. But I probably should have really put Georgia instead of North Carolina there. But Alabama, that's a rivalry game every year. Now, granted, you guys did beat them the past 2 out of 3 seasons, but the game's in Tuscaloosa this year. And then LSU, they're the reigning national champs from the past season. So, gotta put them on there. 3 easiest games: Alcorn State, UMass, and Southern Miss. Alcorn State FCS school. UMass, I think, is one of the worst FBS schools in the country right now. One of the worst FBS teams. And then Southern Miss. Kind of by default, Southern Miss is a decent team in the Conference USA, but by default, I put them as your 3rd easiest game. Your best case and worst case scenario. Your best case scenario is 10-2. This schedule is too tough for you guys to win 11 or 12 games in the regular season. So I went best case scenario 10-2. And that's still pretty good. If you guys go 10-2 with this schedule, that's very good. And then worst case scenario 7-5. I'm telling you, you guys could, I think, easily go 7-5 with the schedule. Auburn, to me, is a bit of a wild card. After filming this video, I still think they're going to be a bit of a wild card. Because I think they could go 10-2, 9-3, but I also think they could turn around and go 7-5. So we'll see what happens. We'll see where I have them going with my predictions. Here's the schedule right here from you guys. First game, Alcorn State. You guys will beat Alcorn State. Alcorn State, FCS school. I think you guys will blow them out very easily. Next game, North Carolina at the neutral site. I already did the North Carolina football prediction video, so go check that out. I really went back and forth with this one. I think this is a 50-50 game. The game is in the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. Georgia Dome in Atlanta. I know that's not what it's called, but that's what I call it because that's how I remember it as, the Georgia Dome. I really went back and forth with this one. North Carolina has a tough first two games in my opinion, and I think they're going to split those two games no matter what. North Carolina, and then if you watch the North Carolina video, you saw how I went with those two games, and I had North Carolina beating Auburn. So I gave you guys a loss here. Um, I think it's a 50-50 game. I don't think it's one of those, like, I know Auburn's close to Atlanta, so I've actually done the drive before. It's maybe an hour and a half. But North Carolina fans, I think, will show up to this game. And I think, depending on the whole COVID situation, you'll have fans in the stands, probably 50-50. And I just feel like North Carolina's going to get you guys. I think it's a one-possession game, but I think North Carolina gets the win there. Next game, at Ole Miss. Now, I do think Lane Kiffin's going to get a big win somewhere this year. I believe it 100%. I feel like he's going to pull a big upset somewhere. Unfortunately for Auburn, it's going to be against you guys. The reason why it's going to be against you guys is two reasons. One, they're at home this year against you guys. I mean, so that's going to be tough as it is. To me, Ole Miss is one of the most underrated places to play, especially in a tight game. I would not want to play at Ole Miss. And then also, it's early in the season. You guys are coming off a loss against North Carolina. You could feel like the season might be over. Honestly, even though you guys really shouldn't be sitting there acting like the season is over. But I'm just gonna say you guys lose to Ole Miss. I feel like this is the win that that Lane Kiffin gets in his first year at Ole Miss. I think he's going to get a big win somewhere, and I feel like it's going to be this Auburn game in Week 3. So yeah, that's your second loss of the season. Next game, Southern Miss. Southern Miss, as I said, they're a good team in the Conference USA, but that's all they really are. This game might be a bit competitive in the first quarter, maybe going into the second quarter a little bit, but I think around halftime, it's all said and done. I think Auburn gets a win here, possibly in blowout fashion. I mean, they're going to need this win at this point, 1-2. So I think Auburn beats Southern Miss. Next game, Kentucky at home. Kentucky's one of those teams. I feel like they're one of the better teams in the SEC. I think they're probably one of the most physical teams in the SEC. But I think Auburn's the better team, and that's especially at home at Jordan Hare. Give me Auburn against Kentucky. I think it's a tight game, kind of low scoring, but at the end, I think Auburn finds a way to win this game at home against Kentucky. Next game at Georgia. Georgia is a team last year. They finished number 5 in the country. They're breaking a new quarterback. Defensively, I think they're going to have the best defense in the country. This is going to be a tough game for Auburn. Last year, the game was 21-0, and then you guys scored 2 touchdowns to make it interesting in the fourth quarter. I think this game overall is going to be competitive, but at the end of the day, I just think Georgia's going to win this game, and they could very well win it by 2 touchdowns. So I think Auburn's going to go ahead and lose this game. And I just think, especially there at Stanford Stadium, I already did the Georgia football prediction, so you can go check that out. But I feel like Georgia is just going to beat you guys. It could be a one-possession game, but I would lean more towards 2 possessions in this one. Next game, excuse me. Next game, Texas A&M. Texas A&M is a team that last year I felt kind of disappointed a little bit. They beat everybody they should have on their schedule, but they lost all the 50-50 games and games they were underdogs in. I expect them to be better this year. The schedule was a lot easier this year for Texas A&M. That was also a problem last year, I think. That schedule was just too tough for them to really do anything better than make 8-4, and I think they ended up going 7-5 with a bowl win, making it 8-5. And by the way, Texas A&M football predictions are going to be out this Friday, so stay tuned for that. I went back and forth with this one, and I went with Auburn, and the reason why I went with Auburn is for 2 reasons. One, last year, A&M did not look anywhere close to Auburn last year. No, I mean, that game, I think it ended up being, I forget the score. I think it ended up being a one-possession game at the end. But a lot of those points are scored in garbage time for A&M. Auburn just basically did whatever the hell they wanted against them for 3.5 quarters. So basically, that's why I'm primarily going with Auburn. Also, it's in Jordan Hare. That's also another reason. Auburn doesn't usually lose games in Jordan Hare. So that's why I'm gonna go with Auburn to beat Texas A. Yeah, Texas A&M. I always have trouble saying that Texas A&M. Like I make slur on the A, but Auburn will beat Texas A&M. But anyways, then you get your bye week. Your bye week comes after Texas A&M. God, I can't say Texas A&M. I think your bye week comes after that. Next game at Mississippi State. Mississippi State, they brought in Mike Leach. I feel like this offense, they have Costello at quarterback. They're going to score some points on you guys. They're going to score points on everybody, though. But it's on the road. I do think this could be a bit of an upset game, but I think with Auburn coming off the bye, I don't know if Mississippi State has the depth to go up against Auburn, and that's why I'm going to give it to Auburn. But I do think could be a one-possession game. As a matter of fact, I think it will be a one-possession game now thinking about it, but I think Auburn does come away with the win there. Next game, Arkansas win. You guys, listen, I actually like the Sam Pittman hire. I know I made a video in here saying that I didn't like it, but after the offseason, I actually liked a lot of things he did. And I think Arkansas is heading in the right direction, but it's going to be at least 2 to 3 years before they're even competitive with Auburn. So you guys will be blowing them out for the next 2, 3 years probably. I think you guys blow them out this year. Next game, UMass win. UMass, as I said, one of the worst schools in the FBS in my opinion. They have a new head coach, so we'll see what he does, but Auburn should blow out UMass. Next game, LSU. And by the way, before I talk about these last two games, listen, for any Auburn fan that whined about having to play Georgia, then a nobody, then Alabama, must be feeling pretty bad about themselves. That was probably one of the most dumbest things you could have done if you're Auburn. Karma is a bitch, okay? And it was proven right here. But anyways, LSU. LSU at home. Listen, last year, one possession game, you call actually a lot of breaks against them, but you guys just couldn't really do anything. You had a 13-10 lead in the second half against them. I went back and forth with this one. I think here's the thing. I think LSU's taking a big step back. I already did the LSU football predictions along with the Alabama football predictions, so go check both of those out. But I think this is a 50-50 game. I really do. I think this will go either way. The last time LSU went up into Jordan-Hare, they actually beat you guys on a last-second field goal. They came back and won. LSU's kind of owned this series lately. I mean, I really went back and forth for this one. I gave it to you guys, and the reason why I gave it to you guys is simply because it's at Jordan-Hare. I think it's a 50-50 game. I'm going to give you guys the benefit of the doubt on this one. You guys could very well be underdogs going into this one, but I think this is a top 25 matchup, and I think you guys will win since it's in Jordan-Hare. But overall, I did not. You could very well talk me out of picking you guys out of this one and go with LSU. But I'm going to give you guys, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to give you guys the benefit of the doubt and give you the win. Because as I say, don't worry about the games that you're winning and losing. Worry about the record. And then the final game of the year at Alabama. Last year, you guys beat Alabama, and probably the best game of the year, honestly. One of the best games of the year. Guys beat them, I think, 48-45. Bama missed a field goal with like a minute to go, and you guys took over. And you guys actually have beaten Alabama 2 out of the last 3 years. I mean, that's actually something a lot of people don't realize. Out of the last 3 games, Auburn actually has the advantage in. So, but the thing is, both of those were at Jordan-Hare you guys won. 2018, when you guys went on the road and played Alabama, that team was supposed to be unstoppable. You guys played very well against them for a half, and I don't think enough people realize that. That game was 17-14 at halftime before Alabama busted it open in the second half. I think this game is going to be a competitive game, but I think you guys are going to lose this game by 2 possessions. I think Alabama, especially at Bryant-Denny, I just don't see you guys winning this game. I mean, even if everything goes right for Auburn, this is one of the 2 games I think you guys will lose. In my best case scenario, 10-2. I mean, I just really feel like Alabama is just a better team overall, especially and with the game being at Bryant Denny. I mean, it'll be competitive, but I think Alabama maybe pulls away in the fourth quarter some and wins this one by probably 2 possessions, maybe even 2 touchdowns. But anyways, those are my if you count up all the wins and losses, I have the Auburn Tigers going 8-4 with a 5-3 conference record. 8-4 with a 5-3 conference record. Um, Maybe not the prediction Auburn fans are looking for necessarily, but I just think the schedule's pretty tough. I think you guys are gonna lose. I think I said best case scenario 10-2. I think you guys. I would probably say you guys lose at least 3 games off the schedule. I gave 10-2 in case of an upset, but I think you're at least underdogs against Georgia and Bama. North Carolina, you probably favors in, but I think that's a 50-50 game. You could be underdogs against LSU. You could be underdogs against Texas A&M. You very well could be. So I think this is a very tough schedule either way. But I went with 8-4 and 5-3 conference record. And you guys will have the tiebreaker against Texas A&M if they also have a 5-3 conference record. Because if you already saw the Alabama LSU football prediction video, I have LSU at 6-2 and Bama at 7-1. So you guys will have the tiebreaker against A&M if they have a 5-3 conference record. And we'll find out what the conference record is on Friday. But anyways, thanks for watching the video. Hit the thumbs up button. Please subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate if you do that. I really appreciate that. Remember the subscriber goal. Tomorrow is Minnesota football predictions. Hold on, let me just make sure I'm correct with saying that. Yep, Minnesota football predictions. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. McD the Beast signing off.